What you are seeing now is 2080 MG Live event in Silverstone, England, and was the first time I soaked in the history of MG and bathed in the entire English car culture. As an almost Gen Z, I didn't really get the chance to witness MG's glory. By the time I became a car journalist, MG had already been acquired by Cyc and has been producing some sporty-looking family cars. The only MG that can send shivers down my spine is Jason Plato's MG6 NGTC racing in British Touring Car Championship. And today, I think it's safe to say the true essence of MG has finally come back. This is MG Cyberster, a tribute to one of the best roadster ever built, the MGB Roadster. I guess in MG's dictionary, cyber means electrification and stir, well, obviously, roadster. So if we ignore the first Tesla ever, this is the world's first electric roadster. And that is bad news, because if you want to build a proper roadster, it has to be very low, very light, very simple, and very capable of putting a smile on people's face. But apart from being powerful, electric motor and battery have absolutely nothing to do with all of the above. It's too thick, it's too heavy, it's too complicated, and it's too soulless. So after being electrified, can MG still build a proper roadster? And that's what we're going to find out today in the circuit. I'm Harris, you're watching my EV. A good roadster must have a good sitting position. I thought I might be too high for this Cyberster. Because of the battery underneath, the floor has to be raised, thus making the seats higher. And because of the convertible body, the headroom is bound to be less. But I was wrong. This might be the most roomy convertibles I've ever driven. The seat is low enough, the roof is way above my head, and adjustability can fit my driving position. I think it's the excellent layout and a 110mm Rubik's Cube battery that made this possible. Unfortunately, the ergonomic is a bit rubbish. These seat buttons look cool, but the location are really inconvenient for my left knee. The surrounding cockpit really gives us that sporty atmosphere, but the wide center console makes my right knee sort of get in the way of steering. The triple screen dashboard is quite immersive, but it was designed for a yoke, not a wheel that is blocking almost 1/3 of the screen. But then again, I've also found myself squeezed in a BMW Z4 or Jaguar F-Type. And that's because roadsters are not meant to be roomy or fit my height. From the cockpit, we can see some struggles of the designer, but at least the driving position is right, just like a proper roadster. However, would it go like one? Now that we're on the track, let's talk about the major issue, weight. Although the look reminds me a bit of the Alfa Romeo 4C, the dynamics is totally different from the go-kart-like Italian Spider. Because this one, a four-wheel drive version with 77 kWh battery, weighs just a little bit shy of 2 tons. Which means this roadster is even heavier than the equally powerful Tesla Model 3 Performance, which is a 4-door saloon. As a result, even though it has 544 horsepower, a 14.6 steering ratio, and tuning done by Marco Fenero, who was in charge of Michael Schumacher's winning cars, it still lacks the extreme agility of traditional roadsters. But when I was driving the Mazda MX-5 MD1, well, it's nothing like it. It's more like a cat chasing a laser pointer. However, with this being said, if we drop the obsession of agility, the car is definitely full of surprises. It's indeed not as nimble as those cars weighing just over 1 ton, but it's far from sluggish. The steering is accurate and sturdy, the chassis is well balanced and can push these 4 Pirelli tires firmly against the ground. Plus, the throttle and brake is absolutely top-notch. They're responsive, linear, and very savage. And if you really want dexterity, the rear-wheel drive version that has 314 horsepower, a 64 kWh battery, and a weight of 1.85 tons might be a better choice. And compared to the neck-breaking acceleration of four-wheel drive version, a slower 0 to 100 time of 4.9 seconds is probably more suitable for its style. People have been saying that convertible is not suitable for racing in the track, as a half-cab body has a lower rigidity. But the Cyberster has a battery pack that gives it a strong anti-twist ability, so it performs much better than ICE convertibles in corners. With just a little bit of knowledge in weight transfer, you can easily manage the oversteer using throttle and brake control. But sadly, in order to let me and other media eat with chopsticks rather than through a straw that night, the engineer banned us from turning off the ESP. So the hope of having the pleasure of oversteering would kill in the crib. Yes, you heard it right, the ESP in the Cyberster can be turned off completely, which was a rather rare gift in the electric era. Despite fantastic chassis tuning, it still cannot defy the laws of physics, which means it can't be treated as a traditional roadster. It's more like Gran Turismo. Think of it as an electric version of Aston Martin Vantage or Mercedes AMG GT. After going nuts on the track, it's time to get back to reality. For almost all roadsters, they are not designed for daily driving because they are noisy, stiff, unreliable, expensive to run, and bad equipped. But the Cyberster is definitely an exception. On comfort, although it performs great on track, it can still be very relaxing when I slow down the pace. On features, it has pretty much everything a car can have in this price range, except the back seat. It even has level 2 ADAS to relieve you from a tiring drive. On practicality, this convertible has a surprisingly large boot and big opening. Plus, there are additional storage units behind the seats. On reliability, the electric motor can be more trustworthy in terms of mechanical stability than the ICE. And the typical overheating issue of EV can also be dealt with the active cooling system aboard. And by the way, as an electric vehicle, it's much cheaper to run. Some may argue that being good at daily driving may cause it to lose some personalities. Yes, indeed, it's obviously not as distinctive as those classics. But if your definition of being distinctive is needing constant care and attention, it might still leave you stranded on the road. Well, I don't think everyone would cherish this kind of personality. Otherwise, how could the Mazda MX-5 replace every single British grandpa and become the best-selling roadster in the world? At MG Live, we interview a lady who happened to be the daughter of Terry Mitchell, one of the designers of MGB. And that's what she thinks about MG.
Like MG brand?
Well, it's because this was the poor man's Aston Martin.
Oh,
So,
okay, that's so bad.
In other words, what MG truly offers is affordable yet fantastic driving pleasure. And if we see this as MG's essence, the Cyberster has done just that. Yes, it still has lots of flaws, like the ambiguous interior, weird taillights, flamboyant scissor doors, and the dreadful engine sound simulation. But the driving experience is just splendid. The performance, the mood, and the enjoyment it provides are even better than those ICE cars priced to double or triple. And thanks to the advantages of EV, it could really be a fun car that you can live with every single day. So let me answer the question at the beginning. No, it's not a proper roadster. It's too heavy and too complicated. But as for the part of putting a smile on driver's face, well, yes, it has done an excellent job. It's probably the most exciting Chinese EV I have ever encountered.